Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another Historic Brawl gameplay video. This time with a Tamiyo Inquisitive student deck. Tamiyo is a 1 mana 0/3 and has flying and has whenever Tamiyo attacks to investigate, which means you create a clue token which you can then pay 2 and sack it to draw a card. And then has whenever you draw your third card in a turn, exile Tamiyo, transform it, and she comes back as Tamiyo, Seasoned Scholar, a 2 mana Planeswalker, and has a +2 till your next turn. Whenever a creature attacks you or a Planeswalker you control, it can get -0, -1. So it's a great way to protect her and your life total. Although not 100% foolproof, obviously. If anything has more than 2 power, we'll still be able to damage, but it does make it harder to attack. Then as a -3, it says return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. If it's a green card, add 1 mana of any colour. Because it's -3, obviously you can't use that the turn she transforms. And then the big one is the -7. You draw cards equal to half the number of cards in your library, rounded up. You get an emblem with you have no maximum hand size. And unlike a lot of Planeswalkers, it is incredibly easy. Well, not easy. It is very, very doable to get to that ultimate. It is possible to transform Tamiyo on turn 2, and not in particularly hard to. And then literally 4 turns later, you can -7, assuming she doesn't get attacked, which +2 does help against. Then you draw half your deck, and then you can alternate between plus in her and minus in her to get back cards. I'm not going to go into the deck too much because, as you can imagine, it is mostly card draw spells. It is Consider and Opt and Charter Course, and well, that's a counter spell, but a lot of counter spells as well. Some of which, such as Exclude and Dismiss, draw a card as well. As a finisher, we have Time Warp, makes an extra turn, and because Time Warp is possibly the only, or one of the only, take an extra turn spells, it doesn't exile itself, it goes to the graveyard. We can get it back with Tamiyo's -3 and get on a bit of a loop. And our other finishers are Kellen, which can hit him for 3, and then Uro, which can hit him for 6, and is not particularly hard to escape, especially once we've drawn half our deck from Tamiyo's ultimate. So what I actually want to talk quickly about is the difference between Tamiyo and Rao and Sorin. Viewers of the channel will know I'm working through these baby Planeswalkers. They are creatures that, and it's meant to capture when they got their spark and turned into a Planeswalker. Got 2 more to do, Gris and Ajani, if I have played Ajani in a regular deck already. But what's interesting about Tamiyo, Rao and Sorin is they all require you to do multiple things. Rao, not necessarily. You can just cast an instant sorcery spell once and transform it, but it is random. You're probably going to have to do it more than once. But Rao and Sorin has time restrictions to your turn. Rao only triggers when you cast instant sorcery spells on your turn, and Sorin, the trigger comes if at the beginning of your post-combat main phase. So not only is it on your turn, it's a particular time on your turn, and that's if at the start of the post-combat main phase you've gained 3 or more life, it transforms. So especially with Rao, it changes generally how you play. A lot of the times in Magic, you want to play cards as late as possible, which is why you see things like, oh, I will opt at the end of our opponent's turn, or I'll crack a clue at the end of our opponent's turn, or wait until the last possible minute to play your card so that your opponent has less time to react and you have the most information possible based on what your opponent's doing. So, Rao is built around instant and sorceries, which you would usually cast at the end of your opponent's turn. You've got to cast on your own turn. And sometimes it feels quite bad going, well, I'll bolt this thing now to see if I transform Rao, and if it doesn't transform, that's a bit of a waste. Whereas Tamiyo doesn't have that restriction. It's draw 3 cards in a turn. Yes, on your turn it's going to be easier because you draw 1 card naturally, but it's not particularly hard to draw 3 cards in your opponent's turn. You can get to the end of their turn and just cast a Brainstorm or a Brain Surge, or if you have casted an Exclude during the turn, you can then follow up with an Opt and a Consider, that kind of thing. So it's a bit odd why Rao and Sorin have those restrictions, and I think it does make Tamiyo more powerful, and I think drawing cards is a lot more powerful anyway. And yes, you could build the Rao deck similar to this, because obviously he is in blue and red, and just do pure card draw. But Tamiyo helps you with card draw by investigating. You can attack a couple of times and then just pay 4 mana to investigate twice with your 2 clues and transform it. So, yeah, I just don't know why for Raoul and Soren they put in those restrictions. It just makes them, I think, worse cards to play. And, spoiler alert, Tamiyo, I'm recording this after the gameplay, we played 10 games, we won 9 of them. So a lot, over double the win rate of Raoul and Sorin. And, I think, and the Planeswalker side, I think, is a lot more powerful as well. That +2 can just shut down a lot of smaller creatures. That -3 can get back any instant sorcery. So yeah, you just get back Time Warp over and over again, which we do in one of our games. And then that -7 is not hard to get to, and it, in one of the games, our opponent doesn't scoop, and and fair play to him, he carries on. But you kind of want to go, we're a counter deck. You've got no chance now. Although saying that, there is a quality of life issue with Tamiyo. When you draw 50 cards or 40 cards, it makes it incredibly hard to see what's in your hand. I do think Wizards should do something to make it easier to get through the cards. I'm literally going, I know there's a Time Warp in here somewhere, trying to scroll through and find it, and I bet it's not fun for your opponent to watch, because obviously they can't really see what you're doing. And I imagine it's hard in paper as well, trying to hold a hand of 50 cards or 40 cards that your opponent can't see. So yeah, so a really, really fun deck. Hope you all enjoy it. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the gameplay. Up against Nadu again. Hopefully this one can go the same way as the last time. We are on the play. We do not have a counterspell. So I think this is a mulligan. Tail's End is good. Yeah, so we'll have Tail's End up. So as always, we'll get our Breeding Pool, shock it in. And River's Rebuke's really good against Nadu as well, because it doesn't target. So next turn we can have Tail's End up, and hopefully the turn after disallow. Okay, they didn't draw a... they didn't play a ramp creature. So I'm just going to transform Tamiyo and tick up. And we drew the land then, so we can keep Tail's End up. Next turn, if we draw a land, we could Command Tower and explore and play the other land. Or if that relies on us drawing a land. Which we don't, so that's fine. So I think, yeah, we just keep up Tail's End. And in 2 turns, we can ultimate Tamiyo. It's a bit annoying, so obviously Tamiyo can tick down to get cards back. Do they just go for Nadu? And do they scoop when we counter? If you don't go for Nadu, we can deduce. That is definitely worth countering. They might have a Spell Pierce. If they do, I'd rather get it out of a hand then instead of with Nadu. And we still have Tail's End up for Nadu. They're looking at Tamiyo. Fading Hope, maybe? Well, we'll tick up Tamiyo. Because obviously if we try and get something from back from a graveyard, they can just take it with Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Let's draw with Explore and see what we hit. Another land would be nice. There's not another land. We'll just keep up Tail's End. And next turn we can ultimate Tamiyo if it's still around. Do you want to destroy my clue? I'm fine with Cultivate. Not that we can counter it anyway with Tail's End. So we'll get our Surveil Land. Snap with Agatha Soul Cauldron, Snapcaster Mage isn't really relevant. Because anything we target, they'll just remove. Oh, they can attack it down to a 7. So we can still minus. We just lose Tamiyo, which, drawing half our deck, is probably a pretty good compromise.
Stop interrupting my work.
Yeah, so let's ultimate. And obviously, it's quite hard to tell what's in our hand. But I imagine there's a few counter spells in there. Let's play out the Cascade. And sure, over to you. That's fine. Let's draw a card. Right, let's play out the Mox Amber. Obviously, they may destroy it with the Haywire Might, but I'm not particularly fussed by that. Let's play out an island. Let's play out Tamiyo. And we'll keep up 3 mana for counter spells. Do we have Wash Away?
Is there a deeper meaning to this passage?
We do not, by the looks of it. So we have 4 mana, so we can do 2 counter spells. Maybe they have a counter spell in hand. And if not, we could Growth Spiral. Or maybe Eureka Moment. Yeah, I'm fine with taking 2. Let's cast Eureka Moment. I imagine they've got a counter spell. Let's put. Let's just put an island. And then my turn. I think I just saw... There's Brawl. Play out another island. And let's play out Wilderness Reclamation. So we have max mana on their turn. Well, let's... Where's Counterspell? There's Counterspell. So they did have a Counterspell. And we'll just discard a land. We do have a negate in this hand somewhere, which costs 1 with Brawl. Yeah, they can take it out. Oh, with a Besieger as well. Do we have a way to... If they want to do that, that's fine. So they can get down Nadu on their turn, but we do have a River's Rebuke. And I think we do have, yeah, Shadow of a Second Sun. We can play. The question is, how much protection, well, how much interaction do they have left? Because we can River's Rebuke, Counterspell, but they only have 1 blue. So we can River's Rebuke and yeah, they can't counter it. Right, where is it? Well, let's play out the Arcane Signet. Let's play out the River's Rebuke again if I can find it. We still have Tower's End. Not the most impactful, as they only have 5 things, but it's still pretty good. And then we can take another turn as well. So let's Time Walk. Again, if I can find the blooming thing. It was here somewhere. There we go. And now we play out that Approach of the Second Sun. Sorry, Shadow of the Second Sun. And then essentially we just keep up all the counter spells. And we can even flash in Malcolm. And then we can Mystic Sanctuary to get back Time Warp. So I'm going to counter that because it annoyed me. If I can find a counterspell that is worth casting. Obviously they do have counterspell up, but we have more cards than they do. Okay. We will dismiss their dispel. Yeah, let's draw a card. We will get rid of the pathway. If they go for counterspell, we have Spell Pierce ready, and I found it. Let's get rid of an island. I don't think we need to draw a card, and also I can barely see what's in my hand already. Where is Mystic Sanctuary? There we go. We will get back Time Warp. Well, we'll put it on the top of our library. We will Brain Surge. We will keep the Vista. I don't think it really matters. Let's get down Uro so we can escape it pretty quickly. Well, let's Time Warp if we can find it. We just put it back in our hand. There we go. We want to keep Time Warp. Let's just get rid of a lot of lands. So now we have a 6/6 that we can swing in with. Let us get back Time Warp. Our opponent's being a good sport.
I am not defenseless.
And that should be game because we can get back. Time warp again.
Use the past to plan for the future.
And then crack in again. So we almost decked ourselves. Got down to 11 cards. Our opponent had 78. But that shows the power of Tamiyo. It's just a shame there's not an easier way to sort through your hand once you've drawn 50 cards. Maybe they should put in a list format. But a really good result, and I said a really good way to show Tamiyo's power. Up against Corvold's a sacrifice-based deck. I'm not sure about this hand. We are on the draw. We don't have any card draw. Experiment Augury doesn't draw cards, and it's more useful after we've transformed it. Tamiyo. And we've got no counter spells, but let's give it a go. Next turn we can explore. Let's see what... I think Treasure Cruise is a bit too far away at the moment. Really want to find a counterspell for when Corvold comes down. But Sapphire Medallion is basically ramps most of our things. Corvold can come down next turn. Which is going to be an issue. I'm going to Augury just in case we hit our tail's end. Or a Glorious Gale. That'll do. We can counter Corvold with the Glorious Gale. If they go for it. And I mean, next turn, get down Wilderness Reclamation to make sure we always have our mana up. Or maybe Lorien Revealed to draw the 3 cards, transform Tamiyo, and hopefully hit another counter spell. They're thinking about something. If I don't pay anything, we'll just flash in. We'll just flash in Malcolm. Wait, did they not hit anything with Cultivate? Have they built Cultivate without any base? Have they built the deck without any basic lands and have Cultivates in there? That's odd. Let's play out the. Let's play Lorien. We'll tick up. And we'll shock in our breeding pool. Swing in. We will discard the island. They can hit Tamiyo down to 1. But next turn we should be able to deal with a few things. They can recast Corvold next turn, but we can keep up Disallow. And if we get down Warden's Reclamation, we'll just have all the mana we need.
Quiet in the library.
Archmage's Charm's a good draw as well.
Use your words.
I'm going to probably get rid of a Spell Pierce. If they can take out Warden's Reclamation, we are in trouble. Oh, they can. That's unfortunate for them. Glad I didn't... Well, the Spell Pierce was needed there. We only have 5 lands because we keep on pitching lands, which is not ideal. But we can blink of an eye with... Can we do it with Kicker? No, we can't do it with Kicker. Oh, we can keep up Disallow. Let's pitch the token so I don't get it back. And we draw another counter spell. See, they can't replay Corval now.
Words can't fix everything. Respect the library.
There we go, a land again. I'm going to keep Malcolm back. But Into the Royal can knock back the Prowler to hand. I assume they target it. Having 3 counter spells in hand is probably a bit unfair on them. Sure. We still do have another counter spell. And I will chump with the Malcolm if they attack. Well, let's see what we draw. Don't really need another land. But we get one anyway. And yeah, we hold up into the Royal and Archmage's Charm. I'll pitch the Verdant Catacombs. That's a cheaper option to deal with Corvold. Don't really have anything to use that mana with, but opponent says good game and scoops. Yeah, that was a bit unfair and a bit one-sided. We seem to draw all our counter spells, which is pretty good. And with Tamiyo, we could obviously always get some back as well. So a really good result in the end. Vadric, so a Spellslinger deck aimed to reduce the cost of their spells. Tail's End is a good thing to have with Vadric. We can counter it and then maybe make it lose all its abilities. Got some card selection, and Kellen can investigate as well. We are on the draw, so we are going to need to, I think... Oh, Ragavan. They might be able to remove Tamiyo. They obviously cannot remove Tamiyo. I think we just keep up Tail's End. And gotta hang back with Tamiyo. See, they may have a counter spell. But they'll be able to recast Vadric straight away. But obviously we do have another counter spell. Maybe they have Spell Pierce. No, just a Brainstorm. Wouldn't mind seeing one of those. What I'll do, I'll put Uttering Significant on Tamiyo and then just play out the Kellen. And then we can swing in. And that way Kellen can sit back, block Ragavan, or keep Ragavan from attacking. Obviously makes a lot harder, but we can just Utter Insignificance it. Let's play in our Genesis now, see if we hit something. Brainstorm. I'll just attack with Tamiyo and then Brainstorm to transform her. We will put a couple of land on top. And Fade and Hope we can, if they play a scary creature or something. Obviously Ragavan can get him, which is annoying, but not the end of the world. And because it hits that Fatal Passage anyway, so now we can investigate with Kellen. So much we have 6. So we can investigate with Kellen, then hold up the Smiths. I suppose we can just replay Kellen. And we can draw at the end of their turn. We have drawn a lot of land. Well, play out Brawl. That means when we use Dismiss, we draw a card, we'll tick up. And obviously next turn we can tick down.
Use your words.
Brawl can hold back. Oh, should have destroyed the midnight clock. Yeah, that was probably a mistake on my part. A Tower's End would be good, wouldn't it? Yeah. So they're going to draw an entire new hand, which is an issue. I say unless we could hit a Tower's End, which we can't. But we are going to draw our entire half our library. There we go. What do we have? Problem is, it's hard to tell what's in our hand. Let's counter that. We may be facing a... Oh, we're not facing a scoop. Yes, we are. Yeah. Downside of joining half a library, you can't see what's in your hand. But yeah, good result against another control style deck, but obviously that utter insignificance early meant their commander didn't do anything, and I don't know if they had any removal spells like lightning bolt or something. They tried to use it on one of our cards, but I think we countered it. They could have used it on their own commander to kill it and then replay it, but they didn't. And I punted a bit. I could have easily taken out a midnight clock, so I didn't draw 7 cards, but it didn't make a difference in the end. Nadu, everyone's favourite bird. We are on the draw, but we do have a lot of counter spells, which I'm quite happy with. And we turn 1 Tamiyo. Well, no, we're not going to be able to. We're not going to be able to hold up counter spells, which is annoying. Wish we had to wash away. Unless they don't go for it. Maybe they wait until they have protection. Which I'm hoping they go for. Because obviously it's also a blocker for Tamiyo as well. Nah, nuts. Well, I think this is as pretty much done then. Unless we can just counter whatever they play. But it happens on target. Obviously, if they play an equipment, we can counter that. And if we get a bounce spell, we can then maybe counter Nado on the way back, but at which point they'll have so much mana. Let's get down the Vista. Oh, we did draw 3. See, Nadu can take it out as well. We'll attack it down for 2. River's Rebuke would be good. We're almost being able to play it as well. Same with Cyclonic Rift. Yeah, if they'd just waited to play Nadu till they had mana up for protection, I think we'll be in a lot better spot. Well, that's, I think, a bit of a waste, but we'll get our Surveil land. Should have done Prismatic Vista first. I think I'll wait then with Prismatic Vista. That will put Tamiyo beyond Nadu. Unless they have a counter. We can draw 3 and Well, we can keep up Archmage's Charm and then maybe draw 3 with Thirsty Discovery at the end of their turn. There's a bit of a waste playing Combat Research then, but it does mean they can't attack through with Nadu, although they didn't beforehand, so... Yeah, here comes the value. Oh, they got Spell Pierce as well. Elvish Mystic can only tap for green, so they can't cast Spell Pierce. I imagine they just leave it up then. So he won't Thirst at the end of their turn, unless they tap out. Okay, not sure what went wrong for them then. They obviously just didn't draw any interaction for themselves, but then we didn't have any either. So I thought we were in trouble there when they played Nadu on turn 2, but a good result in the end. Azusa, so a multiple land-based deck. Usually, I don't have much trouble against these because a lot of the time they have a lot of lands but not much else to go with. And we are on the play and we have ways to deal with Azusa as well. And then we can put Combat Research on Tamiyo. So we'll fetch for our Breeding Pool, shock it in, get down Tamiyo. Next turn we can Combat Research. And start drawing cards. So the green do have ways to deal with flying creatures, but often no one bothers playing it because why would you? And now we have a counter spell, another counter spell. So I think we do keep up our counter spell. I will play out our Signet, and then we can still keep up Wizard's Retort. If they play Azusa this turn, obviously we can counter. If not, we can crack a Clue. Yep. It's amazing how many people scoop when you just counter their commander. And they didn't have any ramp before Azusa, which is pretty bad, especially in a ramp deck. As I said at the start of the game, I often don't find Azusa that hard to deal with because you need things to cast with all the mana, and the ones I've played against end up with lots of mana and empty hands. So not surprising, and a good win. Hello Magic fans, and welcome back to the wrap up. So as I alluded to in the deck tech, we played 10 games and we had a 90% win rate, so a lot more successful than Sorin and Rao. The only deck we lost to was a mono white Felia deck, the new Flicker based commander, and I seem to have forgotten to press record on that, so it wasn't in the gameplay video, which is unfortunate. But I think I did make a mistake on that. That was the third game I played with the deck. I don't often play blue control decks, so I think maybe if I played that game towards the end, might have been a bit more successful. The rest of it really powerful. We played Nadu twice. Once they didn't actually do anything, and I thought I messed up. Well, not messed up. We were on the draw. They played a ramp creature turn 1, and I was hoping that they wouldn't play Nadu turn 2 and they might wait until they had protection, but they did, because if we got to our turn we could have countered it, but they didn't actually have anything. And then that last game against Nadu, which went for 20 minutes, that really showcased the power of our deck, because we ultimated Tamiyo pretty quickly, and our opponent didn't scoop, so fair play to them for letting it play out. But once you've got 40-50 cards in your hand, it does take a while to do things. So a really powerful deck. Out of all the 3 baby Planeswalkers played so far, the most powerful by far. So we're interested to see how Grist and Ajani hold up compared to Tamiyo. With a 90% win rate after 10 games, it'll be hard to top it, but we will see. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video.